Have you ever felt like life had you backed into a corner? Maybe you were overwhelmed by fear or anxiety, wondering if there's a way out. You're definitely not alone. In 2 Kings chapter 6, we find the incredible story of prophet Elisha and his servant, who found themselves surrounded by a fierce enemy army. But what happened next is truly amazing. God revealed his unseen protection, turning fear into faith. Stick around as we explore this story and uncover how you can trust God when it feels like you're outnumbered. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more uplifting content. In 2 Kings chapter 6 verse 15, we see the tension build when Elisha's servant wakes up early. He steps outside and is immediately struck with terror. An enormous enemy army with horses and chariots has surrounded their little city. Just imagine the panic. This poor servant runs back to Elisha, exclaiming, "Oh no, my lord! What shall we do?" It's a scene that many of us can relate to when we face our own battles. When the odds seem stacked against us, fear often becomes our go-to reaction. But remember, fear can cloud our vision, making us forget that God is always working, even when we can't fully see it. Elisha remains calm, showing a level of confidence that seems incredible given the situation. Instead of panicking like his servant, he offers this powerful statement, "Do not be afraid. Those who are with us are more than those who are with them." 2 Kings chapter 6 verse 16. Wait, really? The servant can only see the enemy, and yet Elisha speaks boldly about the unseen forces on their side. This teaches us a huge lesson. True faith is about trusting in God's power when we don't have all the evidence right before us. Just because we can't see it, doesn't mean it's not there. How often do we forget that God has our backs? Elisha does something incredible. He prays, "Lord, open his eyes so that he may see." And just like that, the servant's spiritual eyes are opened. All around them, the sky fills with fiery chariots and angelic warriors standing in defense. Can you imagine the relief and awe the servant must have felt? This moment reminds us that sometimes our biggest battles aren't what we see in front of us. They're spiritual challenges playing out beyond our physical sight. The enemy wants to keep us focused on our fears, but when we look through spiritual eyes, we realize that God is always fighting for us, even when it seems impossible. How comforting it is to know we're not alone in our struggles. Type "Amen" in the comments if you believe God is fighting for you. Next, Elisha does something remarkable again. He prays for the enemy soldiers to be struck with blindness. And guess what? God answers that prayer. The soldiers are left confused and unable to find Elisha. Instead of launching an attack, Elisha leads them right into the heart of the city, where they eventually have their sight restored, and instead of seeking destruction, Elisha shows them mercy. It's a stunning twist. This part of the story teaches us that God's protection goes beyond just keeping us safe. He also wants to impart wisdom and strategy in the midst of our battles. Sometimes, our victories don't come through fighting, they come through faith and wise decisions. So, what can we take away from this incredible story? Here are some important lessons. Fear blinds us, but faith opens our eyes. God fights our battles, even when we can't see it. Spiritual vision is more powerful than physical vision. Our first response to fear should always be prayer. Now I want to hear from you. What are you trusting God for in your life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. What battle are you facing today? Drop your prayer requests in the comments, and let's lift each other up in faith. And if you enjoyed this message, be sure to check out our next videos on the power of faith and how to hear God's voice. Subscribe for weekly faith-filled content.